So I know this guy, a great guy. He goes to Stanford, it's a terrible school. It's okay. It's not as good as Georgetown, where aristocrats and scholars like myself go. But this nice gentleman today, I told him I was going to buy Facebook, Meta. He asked me to make a reel about it rather than a YouTube, because that's what he prefers. And it reminded me, some people prefer short form. Some people like long form. So I'm going to do my best to start making both again. So I hope it was worth it. And also, I had someone very nice in my comments recently mentioning that they really enjoy my YouTube and Patreon videos. So, had to get back in the arena and do my thing here. So I want to talk about Metastock. I just bought 4,000. Wow, it's not millions, it's not billions, but I bought $4,000 worth of Metastock. I want to talk a little bit about why. Okay, so there's two big stories that came out recently that prompted me to be bullish on this stock. And remember, general disclosures: just because I bought it doesn't mean you need to buy it. There's risk involved. Individual stocks are risky. Individual stocks can fluctuate a lot. You could lose your money if you decide to buy Meta. Okay, disclosure's over. But I want to talk about these two stories and why I think they're significant, why they prompted me to ultimately buy the stock. So, first of all, we got the story recently that Meta was making a push to sell. They're going to get in the cloud space. They're going to sell their excess AI compute power capacity. There were a lot of shockwaves, ripple effects from this announcement. I want to talk about those too. So, what are we talking about here? Meta has spent billions and billions of dollars buying semiconductors. Not the word I was looking for. GPUs, buying from Nvidia. I think they're buying from AMD. They're buying a whole bunch of these AI chips. Now, they have admitted that they have excess compute from all these chips that they have purchased. So what does that mean? They've spent all this money, and in a sense, you could look at it as they've kind of overspent, that they don't need this much compute. But, in today's day and in this diverse AI industry, by the way, if you're a tech person and I ever say something that's stupid, that makes no sense regarding tech, just obliterate me in the comments. Don't be shy. And I'll be happy if I'm wrong. I'll be happy to learn from someone who's a tech expert. But anyway, in any case, okay, rather than just, this isn't just an L for them, they can sell this excess compute. Okay, there were two kind of like niche, not even niche. There were two sectors of the overall AI sector that got pummeled on this announcement. So first of all, a lot of AI infrastructure stocks got smoked. Like Micron was down on this news. Nvidia, I don't remember exactly. It was a couple days ago. But the fear was, hey, Meta is one of the biggest companies that is a hyperscaler spending all this money on AI. If they have just come out and basically admitted that they've spent too much and bought too much, and they've bought more than they need, a lot of people think that signals a slowdown in AI spending. I don't think this is a valid fear. And let me be clear. I think at some point there could be a slowdown in AI spending. I don't think this is the catalyst we need to worry about. Let me explain why, okay? ChatGPT. OpenAI spends a bunch of money on that product. It is very highly used, right? They need a lot of compute. Anthropic, they spent a lot of money on Claude. Very, very highly used product, right? Uses a lot of compute. Grok, same thing, right? So there's a lot of companies spending a lot of money on compute, but they have very popular products. They need that compute, right? Could you even name off the top of your head like an AI product that Meta has? I think they had one called Avocado. It was like a ChatGPT Claude rival. I don't even know if it launched or not, but it was doing so poorly they never launched it. I don't want to say who, but someone very close to me in my life, they work in tech. They told me Meta isn't even taken seriously in the AI space. So the point that I'm trying to make is I don't think this specifically signals a slowdown in AI infrastructure spending just because a company who is not effectively able to put together an AI product has too much compute. It makes sense that they have too much compute. They don't have a product that's any good. I hope that makes sense. That's my opinion, okay? And then a bunch of companies that are basically doing the same business model. We're talking CoreWeave, for example. I think Nebius, for example. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And I don't even follow that company, to be honest. I believe they're in the same space. Again, just rip me to shreds if I'm wrong in the comments. They plummeted. I think investors are right to fear those stocks being in trouble because if Meta, one of the most money-getting, most wealthiest companies in the history of mankind, gets into the same space that they're in, I don't think that's great news for them. So Meta might get into the cloud space, selling excess AI compute. I think that would be a great business for them. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we're not going to spend so much time on the second story. This one isn't rocket science, okay? So there was a report recently that Meta was in talks to purchase Kalshi, the betting app, the gambling app. The talks fell apart. Ultimately, it did not go through, okay? But now there's a follow-up report that Mark Zuckerberg, very smart guy, very good guy, he told his people to put together a play money prediction market app. I think this thing is called like Arena. Who cares what it's called? I don't really care. So as far as sorry, I'm reading this article. Give me 1 second. Okay, whatever. Who cares? As far as I understand, Zuck has told his people, I'm just going to read this. Meta was reportedly looking into acquiring the prediction market operator, Kalshi, but Kalshi's legal entanglements may have prevented discussions from proceeding. Okay? Moving forward, instead of acquiring an existing prediction market company, Meta ultimately decided to develop its own product. Zuckerberg currently has a small team developing a play money prediction app. The app, currently dubbed Arena, would use AI to identify trending questions and topics, which would subsequently be used to launch contracts. Let me make this very simple. People in the US love to gamble. People in the world love to gamble. And if you look at these types of contracts, like the prediction contracts, whatever the heck they're called. I don't gamble, so who cares? The prediction, the event contracts, there we go. The event contracts, if you look at Robinhood, for example, and if we want to look at the insatiability, the desire of people to gamble, Robinhood's fastest growing product ever in terms of revenue was their event contracts. Basically, a broker and an investment app, their best product ever in terms of revenue growth is gambling, okay? So there is a desire for this. We looked recently, I think Meta has nearly like 4 billion daily active users between Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. If they can get even a fraction of these people to start gambling, it would be horrific, by the way. I think gambling's terrible. I think drugs, I think steroids finding their way to be popular with young people, gambling. I think all this stuff is horrible. But at the end of the day, as far as Meta's stock price, it would be an incredible win, okay? So to kind of summarize my view here, I like this tweet. I'm going to come back to this, okay? 98% of Meta's revenue currently comes from ads, selling ads. This is not by design, It helps, of course, that they're the GOAT of ads. But like any company, they have tried to diversify and build other revenue streams. They have failed. They have not been able to do it. Zuck tried to get into the metaverse. He failed. Zuck tried to sell those Meta glasses. Failure. they've tried a million different things. They were trying to get into crypto at some point, and NFTs fail. Okay? We are seeing two markets that I believe Meta can figure out at least one of them. Okay? If Meta can successfully figure out how to get into the cloud space, or if they can successfully get into, God forbid, the gambling space, or even better, both. If they can meaningfully create another stream of revenue, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20% of their total revenue, it would be an unbelievable game changer. I personally believe, if these reports are true, I think they can make it happen. We're not talking about reinventing the wheel. We're talking about basically getting into existing industries, is the word I'm looking for, that are printing money. I think they can figure it out. Okay? I saw this tweet. I don't know who this guy is. You know, God forbid this is some lunatic who's tweeting insanity. I don't have a Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but this came up when I Googled it. So this guy says, Meta is now building a cloud business to sell excess AI compute as per Bloomberg. If it's a big if this is true, this is exactly what the market has been waiting for. It justifies the heavy CapEx spend, that's capital expenditure, basically saying it justifies all the money Meta has been spending on AI. It diversifies a line of business outside of advertising. That's the big one, in my opinion. If Meta can sell compute, they can probably begin selling more business-to-business agentic services to those same clients using their compute. Okay? I've said all I'm going to say. If they can figure out compute, if they can figure out gambling, I think this will be a heck of a success for the stock. So, yeah, in any case, thank you very much for watching. If you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments. Make sure if you've watched this far in the video, you better subscribe, like the video. Thank you very much. Salute you. Bye-bye.